I have wanted to be in the ASMR scene for a while, and I just have always been kind of scared. And I thought it would be fun to maybe do some things that I have yet to see in the ASMR world. Hold on one second. Ooh, that's good stuff. I am a Starbucks addict, for those of you who don't know. I'm sitting here with my iced caramel macchiato that I have to have every single day, or else my mental health will plummet. But I thought it would be fun today to talk about some of my dating app pet peeves. Because I have a lot of them. So fun fact about me. I actually am currently banned from Tinder, Hinge, and OkCupid, which are all owned by the same person. And I don't know why. The last time I was on them, I think it's probably because I said something in my bio to the effect of, if you are here to say something transphobic to me, and that's why you're matching with me, please don't bother. And I'm pretty sure someone reported me, and when I emailed Tinder to say, hey, I don't know why I was banned, I didn't have any negative conversations with anybody besides, defending myself against transphobic people, which usually people say something transphobic to you and then they just block you so you can't respond. And so it wasn't like I'd had any big arguments with anybody. Other than people being rude to me, I really have not had any bad experiences. So I emailed them to see, like, hey, what's the problem? And they just responded with, you're banned from Tinder. And I was like, okay. And so since Tinder and OkCupid and Hinge are all owned by the same company, I'm blocked from all of them, which I think is interesting. And when I looked it up, I found that a lot of other trans people have had similar experiences, specifically trans women, because I think cisgender men are very affected by our presence. So I found that to be kind of interesting. And kind of funny, I guess, at the same time, because it's sort of like, okay, we're gonna allow transphobia to take the win here, which is unfortunate. But I will start now with some of my pet peeves. And again, these are all in good fun. I understand that everyone has, different perspectives and everyone has different experiences, so it's mostly just for fun. I mostly want to talk about issues that I have with people's bios. I hate it when people say, I'm not here for the drama, because usually when they say that, especially men, it feels like I can trust that they will be dramatic, because if they're saying that they don't want any drama, they're probably the dramatic one in the relationship, and that is just true for a lot of people that I've learned. Hello? Oh. So yeah, I think that a lot of those people are just usually the dramatic ones in the relationship. So it always makes me laugh, because it sort of feels like they're pointing the finger at everybody else without actually taking any responsibility for the drama in past relationships. And it just seems like kind of a waste of what to say in a bio, because I feel like that's... Hello? cars and sirens and stuff passing by. But anyways, it always makes me laugh because I just sort of think, well, you're probably the drama if you're saying you don't do drama. I think in general my problem with a lot of bios, especially when it comes to cisgender men's bios, is that a lot of times they don't try. And I get that creating a bio is kind of nerve-wracking, but it's a great way to let people know, your sense of humor or the type of person you are, or, a few things you're interested in. And a lot of times people just, say, oh, I'm so tired of how awful dating is, and no one can be trusted anymore, and no one deserves me. And I always just think that's so funny because I'm like, well, but you're still on a dating website. So if you really believed that there were no good people out there anymore, then why are you on a dating website? Because you obviously still have hope. And it's a good thing to still have hope that there's love out there for you. But immediately going to a negative and saying people are bad and no one's loyal and no one is interested in love anymore is just kind of silly to me. Another thing I don't like is I really have a problem with when people in their bios say, I don't know what to put here. Just ask me. And I'm like, well, at least give me something to go off of. And that brings me to my next point. Your pictures say a lot about you. And I think it's great to have pictures of you out doing hobbies, out with friends. But I just don't get people that post pictures where they are, you can't see their face, or they're from really far away. And my least favorite thing is when they have 4 group pictures and they don't specify which one they are. Because I'm like, am I just supposed to guess, or am I going out on a date with all of the people in this picture? My last problem when it comes to pictures, and then we'll go back to more bios, is hunting and fishing pictures. Partially because I think hunting and fishing are pretty, it's not what everyone's into. A lot of people like myself are kind of turned off by hunting and fishing pictures. I don't mind maybe one fishing picture, but when it comes to hunting pictures, it's an immediate no for me because I think that that's really unattractive. My last pet peeve that I could think of is I hate it when people say I'm 6'5" because that matters. And this, I think, is more on women and our society for putting pressure on men to be a certain height. Hang on, I need another drink. So I think for me, I think we have this pressure about men being tall in order to make women feel dainty, and I get that. I mean, I think there's something to be said for that. I like a tall man every now and again, but I feel like it's sort of like genital size. It's like, well, you can't really control that, and to have this expectation that a man should be a certain size, whether it's tall or whether it's something in his pants, I think it's kind of unfair only because it's something you can't control. And when men do that sort of stuff to us, it's really unfair. So I think that It bothers me when I see men in their bio saying, I'm 6'5" because that matters. It feels kind of sarcastic, and it feels kind of, I don't know. I feel like it's an emotional statement that's trying to be not emotional, and I don't like that. I think if it bothers you that people care about height, which I don't blame you, it's okay for you to say that. And I also think it shouldn't be an expectation that you have to date someone that's a certain height, especially when it comes to trans men and non-binary people, because it's not their fault that they're not 6'5" and they can't control it. And maybe they would be 6'5" if they could control it, but they can't. And I think that putting a limitation on other people, on how they physically look, is kind of unfair, you know? Because in the long run, you can only control so much of how you look. And it's okay to have specifications about the kind of partner you want. To say, hey, I want my partner to have a job and have, a reliable place to live. Or to say, I want a partner that's kind and driven. Those are all things that it's okay to have standards about. But I just think that a lot of times when we have standards about other people's bodies and how they should or shouldn't look, I think that says more about us. Because whenever someone says to me, specifically cisgender women, say to me, I only date men over a certain height, it says to me that you're insecure about your height and you need a man to be taller than you to make you feel more dainty. And as a trans woman, I understand that because I feel similar. And I don't know, I just think that it's kind of an unfair thing to place that expectation on anybody when it's not something you can change, You can always be a kinder or better or more loving person. You can always, find someone who has a stable job or who has goals. That's an okay standard to have. But I think it's really unfair to count people out just because of their size or their weight or something like that they can't always change. So that's the last point that I have today. I hope you all are having a good day or morning or night. And please leave your dating app pet peeves below so that we can commiserate together. And I'll see you all next time.